I've tried recording the introduction to this video about a dozen times now, and something goes wrong every single time. Let's see if this is it. Hi there. So, have you been having problems getting into Tier 5 raids on Poke Genie recently? I know I have. And it looks like this. Instead of getting the green join button underneath the raid boss, we're starting to see a red info button and something about your damage contribution. So we're going to have a quick look at that and see why this is a feature and not a bug in just a second. But first, I have been feeling a little bit guilty these days about the amount of money that I've been spending on raid passes. So on my Twitch channel, we've started trying to raise a little bit of money for the ALS Association. You can see over there, as of recording, I have raised 300 Hong Kong dollars for the organization, and it is a super worthy cause. The ALS Association tries to raise money for researching ALS and also for caring for people who do have this terrible degenerative disease. So if you would like to raise a little bit of money as well, maybe buy one less raid pass and feel a little bit less guilty about it, then I've put a link to the charity in the description below. Thank you very much. Back to Poke Genie. Yeah, where's the button? So by the way, this isn't going to be a tutorial for Poke Genie. I'm going to put the links to some of those into the description below. We're just going to try and figure out how to take this Deoxys info and turn it into a join. So what's going on here? Poke Genie has had a problem for a while when you're trying to take on particularly tough raid bosses like Deoxys here. And you could, through no fault of your own, find yourself in a lobby with people whose Pokemon are simply not up to the task of taking on such a tough raid boss. Pokemon like mine here. It says here that my damage contribution is going to be 19.3% predicted, and that is just shy of the 20% that would be required to almost guarantee that you could beat this raid boss. And that 20% number is important because the maximum number of players that a host can invite to a raid is 5. So everybody needs to contribute more than 20% damage to the total in order to beat the boss. And if your Pokemon are not good enough, then you're not going to be able to beat it. So what Poke Genie has done is it's looked down the list of Pokemon that we've scanned, and it's taking into account, their level, what Pokemon they are, what type they are, and also what attacks they have, in order to run a prediction for how much damage they will be able to do in the raid. Now, this number might not be accurate. It might not be accurate at all. For example, maybe you haven't scanned all of your Pokemon. Maybe you scanned them, but you didn't scan their attacks or select their attacks on the screen. So let's see whether we can actually get that number a little bit higher by making sure that we've got everything scanned. Look at this, there's 68 open lobbies for Deoxys, and there's hardly anybody raiding. So obviously a lot of people are having problems getting rid of the red info button. Okay, the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to try to make sure that we've got all of our top counters scanned. So if we have a look at Deoxys, Deoxys is weak to bug type, dark type, and ghost type. So I'm going to jump into Pokemon Go and make sure that we've got all of those scanned properly. I do like this new load screen. So what I've done in Pokemon Go is I have done a search for bug type, dark type, and ghost type Pokemon. And you're going to go through these one by one and check that Poke Genie has scanned the Pokemon properly. Now have a look at this. If you click on the panel on the side, you can see that Poke Genie sees that this Tyranitar has got Bite and Crunch as its 2 attacks, but I had Stone Edge as well. I added a second attack. So what you're going to have to do is to click on the attack button on the top right and manually add the second attack. And then Poke Genie will know that this Tyranitar actually has 2 attacks available to it, and it might be a little bit stronger for our Deoxys raid. So for this second Tyranitar, Poke Genie didn't actually scan the attacks at all. So you can slide it up just a little bit so that it can scan what the attacks are. And sometimes it will fill it in automatically. If not, again, click on the little attack button on the top right and input the attacks manually. Now, I think this is quite a good way for assessing what you've got, because you can look at the ratings that Poke Genie gives you, both for attack and defense, and you can have a little think about, what changes you might want to make to your moveset. And that's basically it. All we're doing right now is going through our top counters in Pokemon Go, and rescanning all of them to make sure that Poke Genie knows what level they're currently at and what attacks we currently have, and especially if we have a second attack available. And we're doing this to reassure Poke Genie that we have the right Pokemon to take on these tough raid bosses like Deoxys. I don't know whether you have to, but I'm restarting Poke Genie just in case. Hey, it says raid now already. So basically for me, all I had to do was to make sure that I had enough Pokemon scanned, and it's fine. So there is a chance that you could go through all of your top counters and scan them all and input all of the attacks and still not be able to get over the 20% threshold to join the raid. If that's the case, then you might want to consider changing some of the attacks based on the recommendations of Poke Genie. So if Poke Genie is saying that a certain charge attack you have has a rating of D, you might want to try a different charged attack. You might also want to power up some of your better Pokemon to see whether it could push it up a little bit higher. But yeah, let's see if we can join this raid. Oh my goodness, I'm getting into this raid so fast. That was pretty much instant. Never mind, we had a bad host. Let's try another one. Timed out. Here we go, guys. So don't forget that you can copy the search string from Pokemon Go to make sure that you get all of the Pokemon that you want for the battle. And we got it, with a quarter of the time left to spare. Part of the reason that we were almost guaranteed a win there is because Poke Genie now makes the effort to make sure that everybody joining that raid is able to do it. So we did really well this time. Oh no, I'm not on the list of achievements. Thank you very much, in particular Suzuka Fan, for being the hardest hitter. 1235 is not the hundo. But no. Let's try again. There we go. See, I told you it wasn't a hundo, but we did get into the raid. I hope that you managed to get back into your raids too. If you are still having any problems, then say something in the chat and maybe somebody will be able to help you. If this video has been useful to you, please press like. I don't usually make Poke Genie videos, but for some reason they are often my most popular videos. Most of my videos are streaming walking around Hong Kong, catching Pokemon. I also learn Japanese with Duolingo online, so if you would like to watch those videos, then feel free to subscribe on YouTube or to follow me over on twitch.tv/AnthonyKellyYip. And if you do want to show a little bit of extra appreciation, please remember that we are trying to raise money for the ALS Association, and the link is right down there in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to catch you next time. Take care. Bye bye.